UKIP in Harlow, tell us a bit, what are the prospects of UKIP in Harlow?
Well, it's quite interesting if you look at how we went in the county council elections, which was really the first time UKIP have actually put a complete slate of candidates up in Harlow. We did very well. I came within 92 of winning the Harlow South East seat. In the big double seat of Harlow West, Dan Long and Jerry Crawford managed to beat the Conservatives back down at 5th and 6th. They came 3rd and 4th. And even Bill Pryor in the other seat managed to poll 25%. So if you actually look at that and add on the sort of villages seat, we're about 400 seats away from winning the constituency, when 4 of the 5 candidates really did very little.
So what is it? What is it that you think, going from relatively nowhere, you know, although in Harlow, to actually banging on the door of winning seats? What is it? What are the issues that you think are resonating with people?
I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's a situation that people are getting a bit fed up with the 3 major parties. Certainly I would say that the current parliament is probably the most political parliament we've had in a very long time. You know, you get 2 sides of a coalition arguing amongst themselves. You've got a Labour Party led by someone who the main people in the party didn't actually vote for, the unions did. So you've kind of got a situation where the main parties are not resonating with the public. And you see that in turnout across the board in general elections and local elections. It's kind of dropping through the floor. So I think the great situation we have with UKIP is we're talking about the things that they actually think are ludicrous. Things like the EU and immigration that the other parties are just not really talking about properly, nor coming up with sensible answers to.
With respect to something like immigration, is it something you had to play? Do you think now that UKIP are the people who can have a proper debate about immigration, about being branded racist?
I think, to be honest, no one should be branded racist when you're having a discussion about immigration. To be honest, if you start attacking people and resorting to insults, you've lost the argument anyway. But I think, you know, people are seeing what the situation is like. You know, with Croatia have just joined, and the key thing that people are really worried about is Bulgaria, and particularly Romania, come next January. Romania as a nation hasn't got a particularly good reputation, particularly on crime. So that is definitely an issue that seems to be people want to talk about.
You used to be a Conservative councillor in here.
Correct.
At Harlow. Would you like to get back in that chamber? And if so, what are the things you'd really like to change about, say, Harlow District Council?
Yeah, I'd very much like to get back in the chamber. That's very much the reason for I'll be standing again next May, and we have a full slate of candidates to do just that. The major issues, I think, within Harlow are that if you look at some of the situations like you know, people are looking around their estates, they're not happy with the state of things, the environment side of things. Also, I think the county council have often looked at us as the Socialist Republic of Harlow, and as a result we haven't exactly been the most obvious port of call for money from the county council. I think people look around and see their roads and pavements are in a flipping awful state. And that's partly the county council letting us down, but it's also local councillors not doing their jobs in the estates for roads and pavements that are the responsibility of the local council. They're not being reported. Well, what are the local councillors doing? Are they sitting at home and just turning up to meetings, or are they getting out and actually seeing what's going on in the wards they represent?
So between now and April, when you started campaigning, what's the plan? Getting the press releases and getting the profile out?
Absolutely. I think people now have an idea of who we are. I mean, we've got a fairly popular leader in Nigel Farage. I think most people would say that. He comes across as a down-to-earth, normal kind of guy, which is, you know, the complete opposite of the other 3 leaders. I mean, if you look at the popularity stakes, I think they struggle to poll double figures, any of them. Whereas that's a fairly major advantage. And now people are actually listening to us and looking at us, and they've looked at the 3 alternatives of the big parties, and they want something different. And I think that's one of our massive advantages.
Mark, thank you very much for your time.